I hadn't really gotten a chance to get much done on these guards because I'd been working on them on and off while I was doing stuff on the cab, but I finally got a chance to get some done. So let's rewind a couple months from when we started working on these guards, and let's get straight into today's video. On today's episode, we're going to be working on the guards, so let's go have a look and see how much we're going to have to repair. Just gotten the passenger side guard out. I can already see that there is couple rust holes in this corner. There has been a rust repair on the inner section in the past that someone's done a dodgy job, so that's gonna have to get looked at. But I've also noticed someone has decided to weld on some washers and they are very poorly done, so they will have to get replaced with some metal. Let's have a look on the inside. We're gonna have to repair this whole section because that is all rotted away, and we'll also have to do a section on the outside of the sheet metal. So that is probably the majority of the work that's needed on this guard. But on the front, you can just see how bad their welds were, and they've done such a dodgy job with this. So that is going to be fun fixing that. But other than that, this guard's pretty straight. This is the driver's side guard. Now, this one isn't too bad. Most of it is there, but there is a little hole of rust there. The problem with this one is you can't see it on camera, but it is full of dints. There's a really high spot here and low spots everywhere. So that's gonna need lots of panel beating to try and get where it needs to be. And even this line through here, you can see has lots of dints in there. So that's gonna be a bit tricky to worry about, but not as bad rust wise as the other ones. This one doesn't have any washers on it, so that's good, but still has some welding in here that someone's done where there may have been a crack. This is the main section where it is really rusty. Lucky we have a bit of a template to go off for both guards because the other one has nothing. Basically gonna have to remake this, so that's gonna be the first thing we're gonna do. So I'm gonna start off by making a template of that, then making it flat so then we can transfer it onto the other guard. So I laid tape over the area that I needed to remake, and then I've just marked it out on the sheet of metal that we're going to cut out. I've got that section in for the passenger side guard. It's quite tricky, but we made that, and then while I was doing that, Dad has already started taking out that piece and getting ready to weld that in. Another thing we decided to do was take off this bit that was in there. I can't remember how it goes. It goes like that. So that section we've taken out, and there was a bit of pitting behind there, so we're going to remake that because that was quite rusty as well. I've got a couple pieces made up, so I'm going to start welding them into the bottom of this driver's side guard. Quite late, so I'm gonna wrap everything up, but for now I've folded over this edge and that is lining up mint. All the pieces are in place. I've still got to put a plug on that end and do a few other little things on this guard, but other than that, this guard is pretty much rust free. Because all of that is so screwed, we've got to remake that whole edge. So I've come over to the nose cone and I've bare metaled the edge of this. There's a little bit of filler in it, but it's very clean. And I've just gone along the edge of this and I've made a template of that corner, and this is what that corner is. Because someone had hacked into it and put the washers on it, we have made this template from the nose cone because this actually doesn't line up with the nose cone whatsoever. I'm gonna start getting this section to fit in here, so let's start cutting away at these. I want to quickly interrupt this video to say that we hit 1,000 subscribers. 7 months ago, I posted my very first YouTube video. I was in math class and I did all the editing and I posted it with a couple of my mates. And at the time I was only at 13 subscribers. I knew every single one of them. I remember saying to them all, I'm gonna hit 1,000 subs. And I have just achieved that goal. I'm very grateful for everyone that has followed me along the channel. I couldn't have done it without my family, first of all, for allowing me to take up the whole shed, because if I didn't have this space and if they didn't support me, I wouldn't have this car in the first place, and I definitely wouldn't be able to have the opportunity to learn and build my dream car from home. Massive thank you to my mum. She has supported me throughout the entire build from day one. Also my old man, I cannot thank you enough for all the time that you have spent out in the shed with me and all the things that we have learned throughout this build. Really looking forward to finishing the car, but 1,000 subs is just unreal. If you do enjoy the channel, make sure you go subscribe, because we're just gonna keep getting bigger, and you guys' support makes it that much easier to keep doing what I'm doing. So thanks guys a lot. Let's get back to the video. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. The lines on it are unreal, and that is only gonna need a little skim of filler, but that lines up really well with the nose cone, so I'm stoked with that. But the next thing we need to do is address the rust holes in this corner. Now that I have completed this section in the passenger side guard, that means that is the last rust repair that I will ever be doing on this car. I've waited a long time to say that, and I can officially say it now. So I'm super stoked to get all the rust out of the way, and I cannot wait to move on to the next chapter of moving on to doing all the bodywork and starting to put it back together. And now that I've finished that last rust repair, the next step is to bare metal this guard. We had already bare metaled this once, so it's just got surface rust, so it shouldn't be too hard to bare metal. So we'll bare metal them both, and then we'll get them in epoxy as soon as possible. We just got this guard all bare metaled, and I'm super grateful that we'd already attempted it once. It did save me a bit of time not having to go through any layers of paint or anything. So that is actually a pretty decent guard. I have to admit, this line is all pretty good. This was the one that we had to make this back section on. So all in here is a little bit cooked, but everything else is straight as. So I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I've just finished bare metaling the driver's side guard, so that means that both of them are all bare metaled now. I just want to show you that this guard is a little bit worse for wear. It's obviously had a couple dings, and you can see there's been a couple scratches in it over the years. So I've got the ruler to see how straight this one is, and you can see we've got a bit of a high spot there, and there's a couple low spots throughout it all. See them tin canning. So gonna have to give that a little bit of a hammer and dolly, clean this one up a bit better. And for a 50-year-old guard, it's fair enough. I wouldn't think there's many that are perfect. That guard over there is actually fairly straight, but then again, we had to remake that whole thing. So I reckon we've done pretty well to be able to save these 50-year-old guards from rusting away, and yeah, we're going to be able to reuse them. So we got both guards all bare metaled, and they look unreal. I love seeing things in bare metal because it just makes it look that much better. So now they're all bare metaled, we got all the rust out of the way. The next thing for these guards will be getting them in epoxy. We didn't get a chance to get any epoxy on them this episode, but I've got a few other things like the nose cone, the bonnet, and other things that need to get epoxied as well, especially the cab. So stay tuned for that, and don't forget to subscribe. So we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.